Hello everyone, how's it going? I'm wowcrendor and welcome to another episode of Pointless Top 10, a show where we make top 10 lists out of pointless things. Why are we flying by this pointless statue in Booty Bay? Because inside pointless things are treasure. Just like this episode, which is recapping the previous pointless top 10 lists. I've created 10 of them, and so as promised, we have a top 10 of the top 10s. Let's begin. 10. Number 10 is the top 10 lighthouses. Inside pointless things, there's treasure. Let's begin. Number 10 and 9. Number 10 and 9 are nothing because there's only 8 lighthouses in all of WoW, which is kind of weird. 8! Number 8 is this lighthouse in the Eastern Plaguelands. It's in the southeast side by the Death Knight area. It's part of the Scarlet, whatever. It's a really boring lighthouse. Here's a shot where it's raining on that half, but not the other half. I don't get it. 7. Number 7 is the Alcaz Island Lighthouse. It's right off Dustwallow Marsh on Alcaz Island, which is a reference to Alcatraz, very likely. And that's the only reason it moved up from 7 to 8. That's why it beat out the last lighthouse, because it's got a movie reference. So take that, number 8. You suck, even though not much worse than Alcatraz. 6. Number 6 is Theramore, and I made it Theramore because everybody knows about Theramore. Pretty well known. It's got a little gnome girl right outside it, so that's a big plus for me. You know, the gnome's standing there. Number 5. Number 5 is the Aberdeen Lighthouse. Well, what used to be of the lighthouse. Number 4. Number 4 is the Westfall Lighthouse, and it's really no different than any other lighthouse we've already looked at, but you know what? Look at it. It's in Westfall, and pretty much everybody knows about this one, so it has to go up higher. Westfall Lighthouse. Come visit Westfall today. Number 3. Number 3 is the Farshire Lighthouse in Boring Tundra. I picked this one as number 3 because, unlike all the other ones, Blizzard finally upgraded this one, and the light's going around, and I think it doesn't do that for the other ones. It only does that at night, while this one goes all night long. All night long, you get it? It's like Number 2. Number 2 is the Venture Bay Lighthouse in Grizzly Hills, and this gets number 2 over number 3 because, number 1, it's got, well, wait, I just said number 2, number 3, number 1. It has a red roof on it, and that's a lot cooler, and it's in Grizzly Hills. It makes it a lot better. That's really the only reason. Hey, it's time for number 1. And number 1 is the Stormwind Lighthouse, because just look at it. Look at all the other lighthouses, really. Look at all the other lighthouses we looked at, and then look at this one. This one's like firing a laser beam. Look at it, it's like firing a laser beam. 9. Number 9 is the top 10 coolest Frostfire Ridge mobs. Inside pointless things are treasure. Let's begin. 10. Number 10 is Lavalisk. I mean, normally I'm not into Basilisk all that much, but I mean, look at him, he's on fire. And he's asleep, but he's on fire. And I mean, Basilisks, they're all right, they're okay as a mob, but I mean, just the name itself, Lavalisk. That's a cool name. That's why they get number 10. Good job, Lavalisk, you've upgraded. 9. Number 9 are the Ravenous Ironclaw, and I picked them because they're kind of like the Ratmen in Mist of Pandaria. They're like, oh, we're the little guys. We're really creepy, but also really, like, small and whoa. 8. Number 8 is the Frostwing Screecher, and I picked them because normally I don't like bats, but this bat looked pretty cool, so I was like, you know what? I'll put a bat on the list. He guessed number 8. You did it! 7. Number 7 on my list are the Ice Fury, and I picked them because they look cool, and they're literally cool, because this is a cool list, and they're literally cool, you get it? That's really dumb. I'm gonna move on now. 6. Number 6 are the Bladespire Ogron, and I picked them because when I think of ogres, I normally think of the old WoW ogres, and these ogres just look really cool. I like them a lot. They got cool armor and detail, and yeah, good job, Blizzard. Number 5! Number 5 are the Cleft Hooves and Cleft Hoof Bulls, because the Cleft Hoofs have obviously received a model upgrade since the Outlands expansion. Burning Crusades, what that's called. I didn't forget. And Cleft Hoof Bulls, there they are. But then I was thinking, why pick only them when I can pick Giant Bane? So you know what? Giant Bane is number 5. Screw you, Cleft Hoof and Cleft Hoof Bulls. You're not Giant Bane. He an independent Cleft Hoof. He do what he wants, unless the people are controlling him. And they're doing a really bad job of controlling him, too. I mean, look at him swerve all over the place. It's pretty bad. Number 4. Number 4 are the fell wolves. I didn't even know these things existed until I finally explored the last little area of Frostspire Ridge, and I was like, oh my god, these are so cool. They kind of look more like demon dogs, though, than fell wolves, but if you're a hunter, you're probably like, yeah, I want to tame one really badly. Too bad you can't because they're a demon. Number 3. Number 3 is Grondo, mainly because I like his name, because I just picture him walking around being like, hey, I'm Grondo. Walking around right now, I'm Grondo. I'm gonna die because I'm a quest NPC that dies pretty easily, hey. Number 2. Number 2 is Barak, I don't know how you say it, the Devourer, and he's number 2 for a few reasons. Number 1, he's a giant, cool lava worm, and he eats ogres, so that's pretty cool as well. That's really all the reasons I had. I thought I had more, but that's all I need. That's all I need. Number 1. It's the number 1 alarm going off in the background, not a car alarm. Number 1 is Stone Ripper Magneron. I don't even have to say anything else, but I'm going to. Stone Ripper Magneron is number 1 because first off, he looks really cool. Second, he's got an arm that's like infused with blue glowy stuff as well as his legs. I don't know what it is. His name is Stone Ripper, which means he rips stones in half. And he's level 100. He's kind of like the equivalent of a Fell Reaver, except for the Warlords of Draenor. That's it. We're done. Boo.
Eat.
Number 8 was the pointless top 10 paintings in World of Warcraft. Inside pointless and irrelevant things are treasure. Let's begin.
Number 10.
Number 10 is this woman laying in a pose, and she's wearing a mask as well as pants. I think maybe she's a South Sea person. She's wearing underwear over her pants, I think. I don't know. I'm not sure. I've just seen this picture all over, and I thought it was interesting that why?
Number 9.
Number 9 is in Thunder Bluff, and it's inside one of the teepees or tents or whatever, and you see it's like a weird symbol with a beard. It looks like a face with a beard and horn. I don't know what it is. That's why I just put it number 9. Somebody tell me what it is!
Number 8.
Number 8 is a wanted poster in Zangar Marsh. You might be like, why are you including this? Because look closely. It looks like one of them is human form Thrall, or just Thrall with a lot of hair. I'm not sure yet. The other ones I don't care about, but look at that! It looks like Thrall! I don't know what, that's like Thrall.
Number 7.
Number 7 is your typical wall-mounted fish, and there's a lot of different mounts for the fish, but this was the most common one I found. And on top of that, you would think that would be in the fish place. It's not. It's in some random building. And why does this goblin have a pickaxe? Either way, I would think the fish would be in the fish place. It's ironic that it's not in the fish place.
Number 6.
Number 6 is the sheep painting I found in WoW Model Viewer. I have no idea where this actually is in WoW, but I've chroma keyed it onto a hill. So, that's number 6.
Number 5.
Number 5 you can find in a lot of undead cities, and it's the farmer and his wife, except they're undead. This is based off a painting that I believe is called American Gothic, and you can go Google it if you want. I thought it was just funny. It was just a little thing Blizzard did, like, hey, this is clever, let's base a painting on a painting, it's it! Number 4. Number 4 is a painting found all around Northrend and Dalaran. It is a Caloac and a whale, and the whale's got a big piece of him carved out, and the Caloac's like, oh, I'm going to eat you, and then the whale's just like, oh, I guess you're gonna eat me. What am I gonna do about it? Number 3. Number 3 is this creepy-ass painting I found all over Azeroth. This is in Karazhan, but it's in Tanaris. It's in a lot of places, and it's this guy, and just look at his eyes. Look at his eye. Look into his eyes. Look at him. Look at him. Look at his eyes. Look into them. He sees your soul.
Number 2!
Number 2 is a painting in Dalaran, and it's my number 2 because I thought it looked like Star Wars. I'm not sure. It looks like Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, and he's got a lightsaber. You tell me. You tell me, but I think it looks like Star Wars. Number 1. And number 1 is just a bunch of the art from Mist of Pandaria, because after all those things I've just showed you, I think in Mist of Pandaria, they really improved their art by a lot. Just look at these paintings. Look at how much improved they are over some of the stuff I just went through. And you know what? Good job, Blizzard. Good job. I'm proud of you. Woo.
7.
Number 7 is the top 10 most annoying WoW mobs. Inside extremely irrelevant things is treasure, and people that die sitting cross-legged in that treasure.
Number 10.
Number 10 is Planestriders. 1, because they suck. 2, because they're just really ugly. And 3, one of them got stuck in my stable when WoW first came out. I had my crocodile pet, but then I put my Planestrider in the stable, and he got stuck in there. It glitched, and it didn't let him out for months, and it was dumb. Planestriders suck. Number 9. Number 9 is the Gorillas in Stranglethorn, and that's because the Gorillas in Stranglethorn used to have a quest where they dropped the aged gorilla sinew. It's not in the game anymore, but when it was, it never dropped. It never dropped. I remember spending hours trying to get this thing, and I was like, I give up. I completely quit this quest. I rarely quit quests because I like to finish them because otherwise it bothers me, and I'm like, ugh, I feel like I just need to complete the quest. But this is one of the quests where I was like, you know what, screw this. This is not worth it. I'm done. Screw you gorillas. You suck. Number 8. Next up, we gotta head to the Valley of Trials where the orcs start and the trolls used to start, and that is the Vile Familiars. They're neutral now, so it's whatever, but they used to be aggressive. They used to just cast fireballs at you all the time. You'd go into that cave, and they would just be shooting fireballs at you. I hate them. They're just stupid little things, and they're annoying, and even though they don't attack you anymore, they used to, and so you suck, Vile Familiars. Number 7. Next up, we got the Hellbores and those stupid things in the ground. I know this is 2 mobs, but I went there specifically for the Hellbores, and then I got reminded of those stupid ground mobs, and I was like, oh, remember when you used to have to kill the Hellbores, and then one of those ground things popped up and was like, oh, I'm gonna shoot at you, and then the Hellbore aggroed, and then he just ran away, and it was just, screw you, Hellfire Peninsula.
Number 6.
Next up are these things. They're warp. I didn't even bother to look up their name. They're warp something, and they're annoying, and they're in Terracar Forest, and they walk around invisible, and then you find one, and it just pops out and attacks you. It's a really stupid mob, and then it goes back to being invisible unless you kill it. They're just annoying, and I hate them. Number 5. Next up, we got the Monstrous Kaleri, which are just an unbelievably annoying and dumb mob. You're just trying to fly around, do some stuff, and they just attack you, they stun you, they demount you, and you just fall to your death, unless you're a druid like I am right here. But most people aren't, and that leads to them falling to their death. Just a dumb mob. They're birds. I hate the birds in this game. Here's a vulture in the Barrens I also hate. I just decided to include him to group him in with the hate fest. Number 4. Number 4 are these enraged crushers in the Barrens, or whatever mob, or rumblers. There's some mob that breaks apart into little elementals after you kill the main elemental. That's what I really hate. I'm not sure if these are the ones. If they aren't, I'm sorry, but I still hate all elementals. They're just always difficult to kill compared to other mobs, and screw you elementals, you suck. Number 3! Number 3 is the mobs that were in the old Hillsbrid Creeper Ichor quest. That is where you had to get 10 bear asses or carcasses or whatever, and then you had to get a creeper ichor. And I could not find any of the spiders that dropped the creeper ichor. They're now all replaced with horses, which I'm glad because that quest was terrible, and it was just as bad as the aged gorilla sinew, except worse because people get in arguments about whether it's ichor or ichor, and it's ichor. Don't argue. You can argue in the comments. It's creeper ichor. 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 Go look it up on the dictionary site, nerds. This is number 2. Number 2 is one of the douchiest mobs I think I've ever seen in this game. It is the Burning Berserker, and he has the ability to charge stun you, even while on your mount, and take away about half your health, and 3 strikes, and you're out pretty much with this guy, unless someone aggroes it off of you, or if you have someone aggro and then ride past them while they die. Number 1! And number 1 is any mob in the game that can demount you. And that's a cheap cop-out of saying that a bunch of mobs are really annoying, but it's true. Any mob that demounts you at that moment is the most annoying mob in the game.
6.
Number 6 is the top 10 banks in WoW with inside pointless things or treasure. Let's begin.
10.
Number 10 is the bank in Ratchet, and even though there's not that much that's special about it, a lot of people know about it, and it's pretty conveniently located. Also, you might even say it's kind of ratchet. You get it?
You get it? You get it? You get it? 9.
Number 9 is the bank in Booty Bay, and that's because even though it has a similar structure to the bank in Ratchet, pretty much the exact same structure, it's on a dock, and there's a bunch of crates and barrels all over covered in kelp, and there's a boat coming by every once in a while, and there's the goblin statue in the background that's at the start of this video. That makes it number 9.
8.
Number 8 is the bank in the goblin starting zone, and that's because, much like real life, it has very long lines with impatient and angry people. Yay.
7.
Number 7 is the bank in Iron Forge, primarily because of the awesome outside. Just look at it, it's got the giant balancing scale thing, and then the inside's alright, it's just a bunch of bars and stuff, but the outside's cool, so that gives it number 7.
6.
Number 6 is the bank in Dalaran, and that's because it has these cool guild bank portal thingies on the wall, and then the bank teller windows, or the things, the walls next to them, I don't know what they're called, they look like they have little snowflake prints built into them, and they're carved in, I don't know, and then it's got a cool snowflake on the ceiling on top of all that. It's an awesomely designed bank, and that gives it number 6 in my book, which, it's a great book. My book is a great book. You should buy it. Best-selling novel. That was dumb.
5.
Number 5 is the bank in Stormwind, and that's because it has a very similar to real-life bank feel. It's got all the teller windows, it's got the little rope cords and the rugs, and in the back there's the big vault, and if you go inside the big vault, there's Phineas G. Bankworthy, who is obviously the top banker there. He guards all the vaults. He's got a cape and a top hat and a shiny staff thingy. I don't know. It's really cool. He gets number 5 just because they get number 5. You know what I mean. Phineas G. Bankworthy.
4.
Number 4 is Darnassus, and that's because you look at these night elves at the bank in the tree, and you're like, okay, it's night elves in a tree taking your money and putting it behind them. Nothing really special about that. But then you zoom out a bit, and you realize the tree is not a normal tree. The tree is a giant bear. And then you realize that's not even a giant bear. That's a giant eagle on top of a giant bear. Whoa. Granted, that eagle could just be erupting from the bear as he soars through the bear, killing him. Let's move on.
3.
Number 3 is the Undercity, and that's because the bank in the Undercity is the focal point in the center of that city, and you have to go to and from the bank to really get around anywhere, unless you're traveling around the outside, but it's pretty cool, and even has little guild bank skulls on the sides, the edges of it, for access to the guild bank. I think it's awesome. I was actually going to make it number 4, but I mixed up the clips with Darnassus, so I was like, it can be number 3. That's how quality of a program this is.
2.
Number 2 is the Goblin Mobile Bank, known as Gobber, and he is specifically for the goblins, and you can summon him every 30 minutes, and he's just a mobile bank. I think that's really cool. I'm glad they added that as a racial ability. I hardly use it, but you know what? I have that ability to use it if I ever remembered to. So take that, other banks and non-goblins.
Hey. 1.
And number 1 is the Old Orgrimmar Bank. Who could forget the Old Orgrimmar Bank? Easily the best bank ever created. The inside of it was mediocre, but everybody remembers sitting on top of it, or riding around the top of it, or running around the top of it on your mount. And that nostalgia factor just makes it the best bank in World of Warcraft. Okay? Okay.
5.
Number 10 is the top 10 skies in WoW. This is Inside Plus Things as Treasure. Let's begin.
10.
Number 10 is Silithus, and I picked Silithus because the sky has this weird color scheme that I really liked that's unlike a lot of the other zones from older WoW. And as you can see, it's got a brown and kind of a blue and then the black. It's like a layered sky, and I really like that. And then it's got the harvest moon, which is like an orange moon, and I just really liked it. So it's number 10.
9.
Number 9 is Winter Spring, and I picked Winter Spring because I like the way it looks. It's one of my favorite zones. I love snow, I love all that. But it also taught me that when you look up in the sky, it actually does kind of look purple when it's snowed outside. And I never even realized that. I was like, why is the sky purple in Winter Spring? One time it snowed here, I looked up and it was like all purpley-ish outside. And I was like, whoa, Winter Spring. Teaching you about real life sky. Yeah.
8.
Number 8 is the Valley of the Four Winds, and it's specifically when it's raining. When it's like daytime, it's like whatever, but when it's raining, the sky gets dark. It's like a real thunderstorm. There's lightning. It's probably the most realistic thunderstorm in World of Warcraft, and that's why I picked it, because I love rain and thunderstorms, and to see one displayed so well in World of Warcraft, it makes me feel the Warcraft feels. I don't know what I'm saying.
7.
Number 7 is the sky in the Dread Wastes, and that's because it's got this blue cobwebby feel to it, and then there's like this weird thing coming down from that, and you're like, what is that? And you look up and you're like, whoa, it's this giant black hole of doom thing. I talked about it in my ceilings in WoW video, even though it wasn't a ceiling, and I called it an emo Alice in Wonderland, and I had to say it again, because I think it fits it well. Just an emo Alice in Wonderland.
Wowcrendor, quit reusing your own jokes!
6.
Number 6 is Shadow Moon Valley, and I picked Shadow Moon Valley because it reminds me of that post-apocalyptic world almost. You have the meteors falling and the explosions and the like green, splashy, weird feel and the like dark clouds, and I just thought it really captured Shadow Moon Valley's essence in a whole. It was really a zone that was defined by its sky a lot. I thought it was a sky zone. It's like a sky zone. This fall, Sky Zone starring Tom Cruise.
5.
Number 5 is one I didn't expect to even put on this list, and that's Zuul-Drak. And I put Zuul-Drak on the list because I was flying through and looked up and was like, that sky looks really weird and eerie in the way it just kind of flows back and forth. I don't know, I thought it was really cool. And if you go a little further into the zone, the entire sky changes. And I was just like, it's a changing sky in a zone. It gets darker and it's more lightning happening in the clouds, and you can tell it's starting to snow. I thought that was a really cool sky that I didn't even know about. Good job, Zuul-Drak, you surprised me.
4.
Number 4 is Netherstorm. How could you not forget, or how could you forget the Netherstorm sky? Just look at it. You got tornadoes, you got the light beams of Outland, you got all these lightning strikes everywhere. It's just purple. I think Netherstorm, and look at that, the sky is being funneled into the zone. I think that makes it even better. I always remembered Netherstorm, and because of that, it's number 4.
3.
Number 3 goes to Hellfire Peninsula, and that's because when you first walked into the Dark Portal in Burning Crusade, you just looked up and saw that crazy sky. You see the giant light beam, you see the red planet and the blue planet, and I think everybody has that in their memory. You have all those planets in the sky and the giant beams and the red smoke floating around. It's just, or the clouds, smoke cloud, whatever. But I think that's just a very memorable and really cool looking sky, and that's why it's number 3.
2.
Number 2 is Nagrin, and it's because it's got just a mixture of everything that fits the zone. It's got the planets of Outland, it's got the giant beam, which is like a Netherstorm as well. It's got the normal clouds floating in the sky that it all comes together to fit the zone so well. It's just, wow, wowcrendor, it's the Grand, not Nagrin. Shut up, nerd.
1.
Number 1 is in the Howling Fjord, and I think a lot of people thought I was going to pick Nagrin as number 1, but I didn't. And I picked the Howling Fjord because the sky just looks so amazing in this fog and the lights floating in the sky like the Aurora Borealis, and then you got the star. It just looks, and the purple and the yellow. Oh, I love the way the sky looks. I remember seeing this for the first time way back in Wrath of the Lich King, and I was like, this sky looks just beautiful. It was one of the most beautiful skies I've seen in WoW, and I think it's the most beautiful sky in WoW. You have to be in the fog, though. Otherwise, it's just whatever. And here's a really cool shot I got when I was flying there of just yellow lights. And here's a weird glitchy thing I saw in the Krasarong Wilds where there's light beams shining through the trees where there's actually no sunlight shining through them. I just felt like I had to show that. Thanks for watching this video. See you later. 4. Number 4 is the pointless top 10 trees in WoW, because inside pointless things are treasure. Let's begin.
10.
Number 10 is the trees in Hillsbrad Foothills, because they're just various colors. They remind me of fall. You got the reds, you got the yellows, the greens. You just got all sorts of colors of trees, and they're a bit of the old style of WoW. But you know what? It has that nostalgic feel to it, and because of that, you're number 10.
9.
Number 9 is Stranglethorn Vales trees, and I picked them because they have a nostalgic feeling to me. Well, most people probably wouldn't put them on this list because they're kind of old. Yeah, there's nothing special about them, but you know what? They're special to me. Sounds like out of a Lifetime movie.
8.
Number 8 are these golden trees in the Vale of Eternal Blossoms, and I gave them number 8 because there's not many golden trees in WoW, and it's really it. There's not many golden trees in WoW. Except for Blood Elf trees, but they don't count, so.
7.
Number 7 is the pine trees in the Howling Fjord, right when you get off the Zeppelin in that little area by the elevator. There's just, I don't know if it's because I went there at a specific time, but the way the light was hitting the trees, it just made them pop out. Like, look at that, it looks like they're just popping out at you. I thought it was really cool. It's probably not that cool, but it's worth number 7 to me. Number 6 are the trees in Nagrand, or Nagrand, the politically correct way. I like them because they're all twisty and twervy. It's not even a word, but they got that Nagrand feel, you know? They represent the zone and its weirdness and its awesomeness, and it's just it's Nagrand. It's Nagrand, whatever, I don't care. 5. Number 5 are the mushroom trees in Zangar Marsh, and somebody's be like, they're just very big mushrooms, Crendor. They are not technically trees. Well, screw you, this is my show, and they're technically trees, at least in this video. And just look at it. They like represent the forest of Zangar Marsh. That's a tree to me. That's a tree. Look at it. Look at it. Look at that. Look at the Hydra. Look at him. He's going away from the screen because he's like, yeah, it's a tree. No way, that's not a tree. 4. Number 4 are the trees in Crystal Song Forest, and I had to pick them because just look at them. There's no trees like them in the game. They're just very eerie, yet at the same time very serene. I feel like I'm analyzing a painting. It's very, but I thought it's such a cool zone, even though you go there and you do like 2 quests there, so you rarely get to see the trees. However, you can look down at them from Dalaran sometimes. 3. Number 3 was going to be the Zungoro crater trees that are just giant and engulf the skyline with their canopy and leaves, but it was just, I over-recorded footage and I had to cut something out. So it is the Grizzly Hills tree. The Grizzly Hills tree is number 3. You get it? Because it's like cut down the tree. The Grizzly Hills tree is cut in half. Probably my worst joke I've done out of all my videos. That's really bad. Let's move on. 2 are these giant, massive, twisty, twervy type trees in Nagrand, and it's not Nagrand. It's Town Long Steps. Just look at the trees. You can see why I said Nagrand. They look a lot. Go back and look at the Nagrand trees. And number 1 is this awesome tree in the Dread Waste. I was flying through the Dread Waste. I saw this tree, and I was like, that is probably one of the most unique trees I've seen in World of Warcraft. Just in World of Warcraft in my entire 10 years playing this game. I just think it looks really cool. It's like this soul weird ghost tree. It's awesome. Somebody's gonna be like, Crendor, you left out this tree, or Crendor, this tree's the best. Well, then go make your own video. This is my top 10 list. Thanks for watching. 3. Number 3 is the top 10 fishing pools in WoW, because inside pointless things are treasure. I'm getting better at that. Let's begin. Done. Number 10 is the School of Sagefish. It's one of the most common fish in Azeroth. It's been around a long time, and just look at those fish. Look at those fish. They're just chilling, having a good time. Not much to say about them. They're sagefish. Damn it, turtle! Get out of the shot! 9. Number 9 is the Crossarong paddlefish, and I gave them number 9 because I like the location they're in. It's a really cool waterfall, cave, grotto type location. I don't know. I like the word grotto. I don't even know if it's a grotto, but you got like these shiny fish. They're jumping around. They look lively. Sure, you get number 9. Why not? 8. Number 8 is this mudfish school in Nagrand, however you want to say it. And I picked it primarily because they're in Nagrand, however you want to say it. I mean, they're exactly the same as the Crossarong paddlefish. Like, nothing's different. There's no difference. You would think the mudfish and the paddlefish have a difference, but that... 7. Now, number 7's where it really starts getting diverse. These are the, you guessed it, Imperial Manta Ray school. Wait, those are manta rays? Those don't really look like let's check again. All right, yep, it's definitely Imperial Manta Rays. This is a manta ray, right? I don't see the resemblance. 6. Now, number 6 is where we start getting a little bit different. This is the are these the Imperial Manta Rays again? Or no, these are the Borean Manowars. Man, they almost look the same, but it's just that tiny little difference you can see in the details, what tells them apart really well. 5. So for number 5, we gotta head to Sholazar Basin because I wanted something from Sholazar, and I saw these nettlefish, and I was like, oh, they're exactly the same as the manta rays and the manowars. They're not manta rays or manowars, at least so. I'm not gonna judge them or anything, you know. It's just 4. So for number 4, we gotta head to Grizzly Hills where we take a look at the glacial salmon. Oh, it's the same as all the other. You know what? They look the most like glacial salmon out of all the things we've just mentioned. Manta rays, manowars, they're not either. I guess they could be a nettlefish because I don't know what a nettlefish is. But you know what? They look like salmon. They're salmon. They're reskinned salmon for all the other things too. So you know what? That's what they are.
3.
And for number 3, we have something different finally. It's the Blood Sail Wreckage. And I picked the Blood Sail Wreckage because number 1, it's not a reskinned salmon. Number 2, it's better than regular floating wreckage because it's Blood Sail Wreckage. It's pirate wreckage. And it's funny because you could be like, hey, look, there's the floating booty, and everyone can laugh. It's like saying Uranus. It's a funny two-way word. It's a two-way word. Look at the pirate booty. The fish are swimming in the pirate booty. I'm done. 2. For number 2, we head to the Jade Forest, and I was excited for this. I was like, oh my god, the reef octopus. This is gonna look so cool. This is gonna be so awesome. This is. Yep. Those are octopus. Yep. Come on. 1. All right, so number 1's actually really cool. There's this large pool of fish wherever your Miss Pandaria fishing daily is, and this just happens to be the shrimp. And so I found this large pool of shrimp, and I had to fish from it. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna catch the shrimp. Here I am fishing. I had to fish for like half an hour to actually get this thing to, show up. And then bam, there he is, the Krakenon. The Krakenon comes up out of the water, and he's just like, I'm the Krakenon. And then he just kind of chills there, and he becomes a rare boss. And then you fight him. And so I fought him, and I killed him, and then he's just like, bam, splash, and then he comes back out of the ground / water. And then you can loot his amazing things. He drops strange dust and shrimp for me, which is really bad. But hey, you know what? It's pretty cool. And that's why he's number 1, because he's a really interesting fishing rare boss. And here's also a shrimp stuffed seagull. He's just chilling on the rock. It's kind of a tongue twister. Shrimp stuffed 2. Number 2 is the top 10 most pointless ceilings in WoW, because inside of extremely irrelevant things is treasure. Let's begin. 10. Number 10 is when you walk into the library in Scarlet Monastery and look up and you see all these cool stained glass windows with this light shining in. And normally you don't look up at this, and I just thought it was really cool. I liked the way the light shined in, and I thought it deserved number 10. 9. Number 9 is in Karazhan, where you're in this Arcanist library, and then you just look up and you're like, oh, the ceiling's destroyed, and I can see outside. So I remember first coming to Karazhan and being like, wow, that is really cool. I didn't expect to see rocks floating in the air because of everything being destroyed. It's pretty crazy. Number 8. For number 8, we remain in Karazhan, but we head to the theater, where we look up and see above the chandelier is a bunch of little goblin or orc cherub guys floating on clouds painted onto the ceiling. I believe a lot of people know about this one, but if you don't, there it is. It's pretty cool. You just look up and you see almost like a Michelangelo. Haha. Number 7. For number 7, we head to Ironforge and to the Hall of Explorers, where all we do is look up and we see a giant map of Azeroth on the ceiling. I had no idea this even existed, and it's got a big compass, and you see Kalimdor and the Eastern Kingdoms. There's no Northrend and all that, but this was made in Vanilla WoW, so it makes sense. I didn't even know about this till today, even though, granted, I play Horde primarily, but Alliance, they're alright. Horde's a lot better, I'm just saying.
Number 6.
For number 6, I picked the Nexus, and that's because when you look up in the Nexus, anywhere in that instance, you see time portal things, you see dragons, icicles, trees coming out of the walls, floaty little object things. It's just really cool. Granted, the instance is extremely boring and I hate running it, but at least when you're being bored, you got something to look at. Number 5! Number 5 is in Scholomance, and you think this is just a normal classroom, the professor's teaching all his students alchemy, and then you start looking up and you're like, oh, there's a bunch of people trapped in the ceiling with green eyes looking down at you. Which is really creepy. They're probably judging everyone's alchemy. Like, look at that guy, he's freaked out. He's like, oh my god, that guy's mixing Earthroot with Silverleaf. What a moron. Who would do that? Number 4. Number 4 is in the Blood Furnace, and I thought it was cool because if you look down, you see Mag Theridion, then you have this big room, and then you look up, and then you see Outlands. You see Hellfire Peninsula. It's like a double whammy. You get to see the below and the above. I like it.
Number 3.
Number 3 I had to include, even though it's not a ceiling. You're in the Dread Waste, and you look up and you're like, oh, it's a crazy swirly black thing, like you're in an emo Alice in Wonderland. It's kind of tripping me out, man.
Number 2.
Number 2 is in Utgard Keep, and I found this on Reddit, actually, where you're running the instance, and you look up and you're like, oh, I'm actually outside. I didn't realize. Nobody realizes that when they're running it. You're outside. You're outside. Number 1. And for number 1, we head to Dalaran, where we go to the inscription trainer. And you walk in and you're like, okay, what about it? It's the inscription trainer. And you look up and there's books. And then you see more books. And you see more books. And you see more books. There's a whole bunch of books. It's a library tower. It's a big-ass library tower. Wow. 1. And number 1 is the top 10 most useless NPCs in WoW. Because inside pointless things, there's treasure. Let's begin. Number 10. Number 10 was gonna be this guy hammering a bush, but I decided against it, and I decided to go with all the children in World of Warcraft, because really, they don't fight, you can't kill them, they just walk around and do nothing, they don't perform any jobs or tasks or act as vendors, and look at this one's really creepy. Watch this little goblin girl. Ah, she walks really fast. It's weird. God, all the children in WoW are useless. 9. Number 9 is Grifta, the seller of amazing amulets in Shatrath. He's the seller of the soap on a rope, so that makes him kinda not useless, but it also makes him extremely useless.
Number 8.
Number 8 is not Myra Tringard, the bread vendor. A lot of people wanted it to be, but really she's not that useless because a lot of people sell their items to her because she's in a convenient location. But you know who's not in a convenient location? Sognar Cliffbeard, the meat vendor. Nobody talks about him. Nobody's like, hey, I went to the meat vendor today. He's useless. 7. Number 7 is Iron Patch. He's on the boat in Stranglethorn. He's one of the Bloodsail Buccaneers. A lot of people were saying he has no purpose whatsoever, but Lilas on Wowhead said he's now part of a quest, maybe from the Cataclysm or something? I don't know. Either way, he's a named mob. If you're a named mob and all you do is stare at a wall, you're pretty useless in my book. So Iron Patch, you're number 7.
6.
Number 6 is Torseg the Exiled, and just because he's exiled doesn't mean he's useless. It just means he's useless currently. He may have a purpose in a later life or later in the game. So you know what? Just because you're useless now, don't give up, Torseg. Don't give up on your dreams. 5. Number 5 is Topper McNabb, the beggar that anybody who's been to Stormwind knows. Topper McNabb is useless because after 10 years of begging, he's still a beggar in Stormwind. Like, come on. You're supposed to be the top of your class. You get it? The top. It's a joke. It's a play on words. It's a funny joke. Number 4. Number 4 is Orchaos the Insane, and all he does is walk around on a rock in Shadowmoon Valley. And he really is useless because according to WoWWiki, originally Tyranniku was supposed to give a quest to kill Orchaos upon a player reaching Exalted with Netherwing in order for him or her to obtain a Nether Drake mount. But the idea was replaced with Lord Illidan's Stormrage. And I guess that's why he went insane or something. I don't know. It's because he really is useless. He just walks around on a rock. He has no purpose. He wasn't prepared for this. You get it? You get it? He wasn't prepared? Because Illidan, you're not prepared? I'm loaded with jokes today! Number 3. Number 3 is Poison Supply Vendor, specifically Rekul. And I picked him because in Orgrimmar, all he does is he sells a simple dagger. That's all he does. He's got all his poisons bubbling all around him. He's got a cauldron of I don't know what's inside of it. And all you can do is buy a simple dagger. And somehow, that still keeps his shop open. I don't know how he does it, but good on you, Rekul. Number 2. Number 2 is the old class trainers, like the mage trainer, the rogue trainer, all those guys that are useless now since you just learn your skills automatically, but they're very douchey about what they do now, which is just stand around, like, I don't train your kind, druid. Like, really? You don't train anyone anymore, or don't waste my time. Like, you just being in the game is wasting my time because you tricked me into clicking on you thinking you're gonna train me something when you don't do anything. You're useless! Number 1. Number 1 is these 2 people playing Hearthstone. No, it's not. It's not them. I tricked you. It is the 2 people spectating these people playing Hearthstone. And that is because if you remove the 2 people playing Hearthstone, it would be kind of weird because nobody would be playing. But if you remove the 2 spectators, nobody would notice or care or even remember that they even existed or were watching the game. And look at them. They're even commenting on the game. That guy Andy's like, oh, look, you're making a bad play. Like, screw you, Andy. You'd probably make the same bad play. You're useless. Thanks for watching.